Alright, so to get this out of the way, I don't expect anybody to actually watch this. I just need to put this out there. I need to get this out. I need to remove these demons from me and put them in the internet because oh my god. So, full disclosure, the only Kingdom Hearts game I've played is actually 358 divided by 2. But I've seen the vast majority of the cutscenes on YouTube, and now having finished watching Kingdom Hearts 3, including the true ending, by the way, BT dubs, spoilers for the whole series. If you haven't finished Kingdom Hearts 3 or any of the other ones, just stop or keep going. I don't know. I get the sense that a lot of people who like and watch these games haven't actually played them, because if they did, they find that the vast majority of the gameplay is incredibly frustrating, and the vast majority of the plot makes no fucking sense. I legitimately don't know where to start with how to dissect this ending, so I guess let's just take it from my interpretation of it, and then if other things happen, because people might find new stuff and I don't know, they might make Kingdom Hearts 4 or something, and then that'll be really great. Boy, I can't wait for that to happen. So for my interpretation of the ending, let's start a little bit chronologically. The entirety of Kingdom Hearts 3, nothing happens until the very end, when they finally kick all the Disney characters out of the scene and they can just get to the good part, except that 3 of them keep showing up, and I don't care. I care so little about Disney. But okay, let's go. Okay, so there's a big the Zayin Art has his 13 vessels and or 13 perfect darknesses that he's made either by corrupting people or putting parts of his soul / heart into them to make them clones. These are people from the past, and like time, it's just Zayin Art exists at all times, which is kind of how their time travel is explained. And same with his Keyblade, actually. More on that Keyblade later. Wow, don't just get ready for some terrible plot. So from what is explained to me, it's a very, or at least I can interpret this, it's a very Watchmen-esque kind of time travel, in which if you become a person who can travel through time, you are experiencing all of time at the same time, or all of your versions of you, as it were, and you can all go to the same point, are all simultaneously experiencing it, because if you see it in the future, you must have remembered it in the past. So Zayin Art gets, he himself and 11 other people I don't care about, and like the 4 dumbest organization, 13 members, the yellow-haired lady who sucks, Larcene, Flower Guy also sucks, Merlucia, Syx, who goes Super Saiyan, that was really cool, I don't know what the fuck his deal was, I don't know, whatever. And they're like, we're gonna go unlock Kingdom Hearts, which, by the way, it is never explained. And like, this is complaint number 1. To put a counter up there, but I won't because I don't know how to edit videos. Complaint number 1: they never actually put it into human English or words at all. Forgive me for being, North America centric. So they never actually explain it in any reasonable context, at any context at all. What Kingdom Hearts is, what opening Kingdom Hearts does, how exactly opening Kingdom Hearts advances anybody's plan, also why. Why is a question that I keep coming back to. Why? Why is any of this happening? But anyway, so Zayin Art's got his 13 dudes, and we end up with like 9 people on Team Good or whatever, and 2 of them are Disney characters. Desorpsorps and Gobbles or whatever, I don't care, they don't matter, I hate them so much. Listening to all the cutscenes of Kingdom Hearts 3 was aggravating at best, and actually infuriating at worst. At a minimum, they were a frustration, but it doesn't matter. So the end series, as it were, is a series of high-octane boss battles, in which after you fight and you kill, but not really because this is a Disney game, you fight and you defeat the nobodies and or replicas or whatever, and then it turns into another copy of Zayin Art's Keyblade. What is that all about? Wow, it'd be great if that were explained at all. That'd be great. That'd be nice. I'll take it. Whatever. So Zayin Art gets all 13 of his clones of his sword, or I guess 12 because they all die except for him. And he does a 180-degree flip and looks directly at the sky, and then he's like, now I've unlocked Kingdom Hearts and I win. I've done it. And then he just stands there motionless with enough time for them to give each other a pep talk, and they hit her with a fireball. And then this is the only reasonably cool thing that happens. So it's in Birth by Sleep, there's a really great moment in which Zayin Art does the old stab through with his own Keyblade and is like, I'm going to lock my own heart. I'm going to step out of my own heart. I'm going to send my soul and mind into another body because this body sucks. I'm an old man. I'm really hot, but I need to be hotter. You know what I mean? And let me just say, as a quick aside, every single possible incarnation of Zayin Art hot as fuck. I don't know what the he's got this intrinsic just hotness. Maybe it's the yellow eyes. Maybe it's the sometimes white hair. It's anything. Maybe it's the weird hair horn. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's because he sucks at chess. I don't know. On second thought, the 12-year-old version of him is not very hot for a number of very legitimate reasons. I don't know. More importantly, so in Birth by Sleep, we've actually seen one of those like it's like the closest we ever get to actually seeing a plot point happen on screen in Kingdom Hearts, where Xehanort goes I'm gonna unlock my heart now, and he's like, you'll become my new vessel, and stabs himself, and then Terra just does a deer in headlights and stares off into the middle distance as the plot happens to him because he has no agency whatsoever when the player is not directly in control of him, and even when the player is, and whatever. So Xehanort can, like, we've shown that, like, you can pull your heart out and go into people, and we actually even see little vignettes of what it's like inside of someone else's heart, and the answer is it's a big stained glass window, but sometimes it's just empty blackness, and sometimes it ain't. And in Xehanort's case, when they hit him with a rock or whatever, and Sora, and also Donald and Goofy for some fucking reason, because they had to put that in there, because I hate them. They go into Xehanort's heart, and we see what Xehanort's heart looks like. And the answer is, it's actually pretty cool if you take all the dumb out of it. Like, Kingdom Hearts sounds so cool when you're explaining it to someone, but when you actually see it, it's the worst thing you've ever seen, and you just want it to stop happening to you. But in words, when they enter Xehanort's heart, like they don't actually stab themselves. I think they stab him, and then it's like he's in the heart transference zone that is also never explained. You just have to assume that it works like that. So they dive on in, and they see Xehanort's heart, which is an empty replica of the city that he used to live in. And it's explained through a series of monologues as he turns into a big horse or something. That this used to be a perfect city, and then light, you know, whatever, and then the darkness came and it killed everybody. And that's why I want to unlock Kingdom Hearts, because everybody's dead, and they're not going to start a civilization over again. You just gotta blow up the whole universe and try again, which I can respect as a sort of a villain, you know, motivation. Honestly, that's not bad. Like, I've seen better, but like that's not bad, and like it's poetic, you know, like inside what is someone who's lost everything, you know, and what is a representation of your heart, or in this case your soul, or the Kingdom Hearts equivalent of like what are you thinking of, you know, what is inside of you that makes you go. And in Kingdom Hearts characters, it's their friends, or it's like just pictures of their friends because they're weird, if they're not cool enough to just have friends inside of them, like Sora, and Riku, or whatever the white-haired guy's name is that isn't Xehanort, although he is sometimes. Don't worry about that, whatever. So it's a big empty city that Xehanort blows up, which is like kind of poetic, that like, because it flashes, it's like, honestly, the Xemnas fight in Dream Drop Distance is kind of like this, in which it's like you're fighting Xemnas, and then Xemnas is like, I'm in a dreamscape, therefore, I'm going to hit you with a building, because I believe in myself, and I like that a lot. And Xehanort cuts a really imposing figure. I honestly props for them for making the final boss like big old man Xehanort, big old Daddy X-Force, or whatever his name is. And then it just gets kind of weird from there, because like his motivation made sense from like I'm a villain standpoint, in which you gotta just give him like 50 points bonus just for trying his best. And then like, I don't know, I was really hoping that the ending wasn't going to be Xehanort realizing that, oh no, turns out I was wrong, I guess I'm a good person now, I'm gonna go to heaven. And then he just goes to heaven, he just does it, he dies of old age, actually. That's how bad this plot is Xehanort dies of old age. I don't even know. So Xehanort, in the least climactic climax of all time, after, let me just back this up. This is the second time he's opened Kingdom Hearts and then proudly proclaimed, oh, I've won, I've done it, this is the one thing that I wanted, and then immediately gets, like, killed or something. I guess the first time was because he wanted to do it, because, I mean, that actually makes sense. Honestly, Birth by Sleep was the most put together game in this entire series. But Zayin Art dies of old age, or something. He turns into a horse and then he dies of old age. It's really weird. Um, I legitimately, I kind of like recoiled in horror when all of the Disney characters showed up and they were like, we're gonna just have a really nice talk. We're gonna talk about our feelings. And then they talked about their feelings, and it was a good, honestly, was a good fucking callback for, because in Birth by Sleep, like when they're talking inside Terra's heart, which is a featureless black void, and I guess that's what it's like when you have your mind eaten by Xehanort's. There's nothing left, and I guess it's kind of poetic. And there's like Xehanort's big head on one side and Ericus's big head on the other, and he's like, "Oh, Ericus, you sly fox, you're inside Terra, and therefore I can't," because apparently it's like DDO rules in which you could have a container, but you can't contain that container because there's just nothing, you can't do that. That's just against the rules. I think that's how that works in Kingdom Hearts, is that if you've got someone else's heart inside of you, you can't go inside of someone else's heart unless you're Sora, and then you contain half the cast at any given point, which doesn't make any sense. But whatever, that's fine. Anyway, so Zayin Art dies of old age, and I probably lost a year off my life staring in abject horror as one of my favorite villains of all time. In fact, the only ray of sunshine in this entire game series that I'm somehow obsessed with, despite only playing one game. Exits stage left with a relative amount of fanfare, makes some dumb chess pun, and then leaves. And then, there's a true ending, so this doesn't even fucking matter. My fan theory. So here's, let me back this up to Zayin Art's Keyblade here. So firstly, I want to just point this out. So you can buy replica Keyblades online. There's a pretty good market for them. Like that's a pretty cool prop. Like they are satisfying to swing around, and like I collect copies of Frostborn. I get it. You know what I mean? And like if I wanted to get a replica Keyblade, the replica Keyblade that I would want is probably Zayin Art's Keyblade. The thing's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Frostborn, which I collect. You know, so I might buy it. Except that its name is No Name, so you can't fucking Google it. Because No Name is a terrible name to name anything, and the internet gets confused. Whatever. Anyway, so as explained in the mobile game or whatever, I forget what X back cover even is, and this is just the most dumb plot twist of all time. So plot-wise, breaking news: Xehanort's Keyblade can travel through time. Different than how he can travel through time, but very similar, but not the same. Let me break this down for you. The key, you know, like the four like weird animal-headed people that are just not related to the plot, or something, and then like they're there. I think they're on the cover of Kingdom Hearts 3. I forget what they're called, but they're from old place where Xehanort was from. This is whatever, Dol Kakarin or whatever, some stupid long Final Fantasy name. Doesn't matter. So there is a guy with a black box, and he's got the hood on, and he's got a Keyblade, and he's like, I need you guys to take this Keyblade with you wherever, because it can see the future, but only the future that it's physically present for. So just like kind of wave it near any plot points. Like if you feel any plot is happening, just make sure the Keyblade's there too. Just no particular reason. Don't worry about it. And then he just exits stage left, like somersaults out of the story for 45 years, it doesn't matter. So in the true ending, it's four animal head people, and they're like, oh, good gravy, butter my biscuits, what's going on? And turns out Braig is the real bad guy. Yes, that's right. Comic relief character and bumbling sidekick whose only talent is getting beaten by not even the A protagonist, but the B protagonist, pulling the whole strings. Clearly, this was all part of his master plan. It was him. And they're like, you look nothing like the guy from the game that you're supposed to be, and he plays it off really cool. He's like, I just shed my form. Clearly I'm a shape. I can just shapeshift. You know what I mean? Unlike that other shapeshifter Zayin Art, I'm not that guy, even though I am, because that's how that works, and it's a proven fact that you get possessed by Zayin Art, then you lose all motivation except for the motivation to help him, because they literally tell us that. It's actually one of the only facts we get into words. And in fact, I believe at one point, his like last line in Birth by Sleep is like, oh, and this is in Dream Drop Distance actually, where he's like, I'm actually have Zayin Art already, whoa, because he's only got one eye. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So it turns out he's the original. First of all, he's a Keyblade wielder. That's pretty cool. Everybody's a Keyblade wielder now. Actually, there's only like 12 people in all of Kingdom Hearts, and they all use Keyblades, so I don't really know why it's a big deal, but whatever. There's so many fucking Keyblades. Doesn't matter. So Braig, turns out, he's the bad guy, and like, forgive me for like just saying this outright, but that's really dumb. That's so dumb. That's the dumbest thing I saw in my. That's the dumbest thing I've seen in my entire life. It's incredibly dumb. And there's this like pervasive smugness throughout all of the Kingdom Hearts plot, and it's just completely unfounded. Like I don't understand. Their way they construct narratives doesn't make any sense. Like, hypothetically, if you wanted to set it up such that there's this shadowy organization with a shadowy villain, and the villain can possess people and can change his face, but you knew him by these distinctive features, like his eyes have this like black ring in them and they're yellow, you know what I mean? And if you fall into the darkness, watch out, because he's gonna take control of you too, so there's this constant fear and you don't know who to trust. They all wear this spooky uniform, you know, and then he's like immortal because he keeps body jacking people, and he just really wants to get to this big end game, and he's got all these, pulling all the strings. And then you wanted like the real plot, you wanted to be like next level, because that's kind of played out, you know, you can make a good arc, but like you're like, I want to make something a little bit extra, some little blast, little twist. Turns out one of his lieutenants is actually like a bigger bad, and he's just pulling the strings. Like he doesn't even want to be in the spotlight. He doesn't care about the glory. He's just deluding the villain. He wants Zayin Art to take all the credit, because he's in it for something bigger, something badder, something cooler, you know what I mean? And it'll be the last little punches to reveal that the guy you thought was pulling the strings isn't. He's just another pawn. I would at least try to put a minimum of one actual indication, or even a casual allusion. I would settle for a metaphor. I would settle for a panel in a single supplemental comic book to even remotely suggest that this could in some way be at a, like, barely conceivably possible. I would, bare minimum, at least imply that theoretically it could maybe one day be a thing that could happen. What I wouldn't do is wait until the last 6.5 seconds of an 8.5 hour long series of cutscenes after 25 years of just games that are just full of narrative that doesn't make any sense, in order for that same sidekick lieutenant character to go, but secretly it was me, and then that be the only indication at all that that could remotely have been a thing. What that says to me is not, aha, this narrative, it's so finely crafted, it was there all along, if only I had seen it, this irony, the characters were fooled, but so was I as the reader. These expert storytellers, they've put together something so beautiful. Instead, what this current thing says to me, this ending in like broad air quotes, says to me is, wow, I sure am glad I never have to write another Kingdom Hearts game ever again. Anyway, in summary, I don't know what I expected out of Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't know. Like, I had always hoped it would just be done. You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of want it to be done. It's like Half-Life. It's like I just want to know. I want to know so it can be over with. And that's kind of the feeling that I got while I was watching this game. It's like, I just want it to be done. I want it to be over, you know? It's a story, it's a cool story, and they put together some cool stuff, but like, it's done now. I just wanted to stop. I wanted it to stop happening to me so I could move on. I don't know. And anyway, in summary, I don't really, I don't know. It, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening to my incoherent rant. I'm sure I'll get around to posting this on the internet at some point. Definitely. Absolutely not. Okay, goodbye.